Welcome, future thinker. If you haven't already, hit subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss an episode. Let's dive straight into today's idea. Ethical AI. We hear about it a lot, but what does it actually mean in your everyday life? Imagine you're applying for a loan. The algorithm says denied. No explanation, no appeal. That's unethical AI in action, when power is hidden, biased, or unchecked. But it doesn't have to be this way. Today, we explore how ethical AI principles shape the technology you interact with daily and how your choices as a user can influence the future of artificial intelligence. First, let's define ethical AI. It's not about robots becoming moral philosophers. It's about aligning machine decisions with human values, transparency, accountability, fairness, and harm reduction. Every app you use, navigation, shopping, streaming, relies on algorithms trained on massive data. But if that data reflects bias, so will the AI. Here's the kicker. According to a 2024 ACM study, 64% of users trust AI less when ethical boundaries aren't visible. That erosion of trust impacts everything from user adoption to legal compliance. So here's a question for you. Have you ever paused to check how an AI tool you use was built or trained? Let's move to real-world examples. Your voice assistant doesn't just listen, it interprets. If it's not trained on diverse voices, it may misinterpret accents or dialects. That's an ethical failure, not a tech glitch. Or consider content moderation. Platforms like YouTube and TikTok rely on AI to flag harmful material, but without human oversight, this can result in over-censorship or worse, racial bias. Transparency matters. When we know how an AI decision was made, we can challenge it. Without this, we're left powerless. Now consider this. Ethical design doesn't just prevent harm, it unlocks trust. Think of privacy-focused apps like Signal or DuckDuckGo. Their code aligns with user values, not just shareholder returns. In a Nature Machine Intelligence study, researchers found that 78% of AI models in public datasets lacked transparency protocols. That's a massive blind spot, and one we can't afford in healthcare, law, or education. Let's talk about bias. Bias isn't always malicious. Sometimes it's unintentional, but AI amplifies it. If you train a hiring algorithm on a decade of resumes from a male-dominated industry, it learns to prefer men. That's how bias embeds itself. Fixing bias requires intentional design. It means curating diverse datasets, stress-testing decisions, and inviting critical audit. Here's another question. Would you trust an AI system to decide your job interview without human backup? Let's zoom in on daily interactions. Fitness trackers use AI to estimate caloric burn, but those models are often based on male physiology. That leads to underestimation for women, affecting health outcomes. Or take language models. If you ask a chatbot to describe a CEO and it defaults to a male pronoun, that reflects bias in training data. Ethical AI means catching these subtle signals and correcting them before they scale. Now, some companies do it right. Google's PAIR, People plus AI initiative, focuses on human-centered design. They create tools that visualize how models make decisions, making opaque systems interpretable. But the onus isn't only on tech giants. Nonprofits like AI Now and Mozilla advocate for policy change. Regulators worldwide, from the EU's AI Act to California's algorithm transparency laws, are stepping in. Yet users remain the first line of defense. Start with awareness. Ask what data feeds your apps. Understand the power dynamics. Who benefits when an algorithm says yes or no? Then apply pressure. Reviews, ratings, and social media pushback influence companies. Demand explanations. Celebrate transparency. Remember, ethical AI isn't a niche concern. It's about justice. Imagine facial recognition misidentifying protesters or predictive policing targeting poor neighborhoods. These are real, documented harms. That's why the stakes are so high. But there's hope. Ethical audits like those from OpenAI and DeepMind are becoming standard. Independent research labs now probe AI for edge cases, where systems might fail. We're also seeing co-design approaches. Instead of building tools for people, companies build with communities. This improves equity and adoption. Now let's explore a hopeful scenario. You wake up and your health app notices abnormal sleep. It asks consent to share with your doctor. You agree. The app explains how your data is used and who sees it. Later, you apply for a credit card. The approval screen includes a clickable explanation of the algorithm's logic and a direct link to appeal. That's ethical AI in action, respectful, explainable, and human-centered. But it only happens if we demand it. Another quick question. In your opinion, what's the most unethical tech product currently on the market? Let's close with action steps. 1. Support ethical open-source AI. Projects like Hugging Face's model cards give users transparency. 2. Favor tech providers with published fairness benchmarks. Some fintech apps now show how they mitigate bias in lending. 3. Share knowledge. Most people don't know AI can discriminate. Start conversations. Spread awareness. And 4. Push for legislation. Write to your representatives. Ask for algorithm audits, impact assessments, and ethical review boards. We're shaping AI with every download, click, and endorsement. And here's the deeper truth. Ethical AI isn't just about preventing harm, it's about designing flourishing. Systems that elevate human dignity, that respect nuance, that enhance rather than replace human judgment. Let's not automate injustice. Let's not accept bias as default. Let's build intelligence with integrity. Thanks for staying to the end. Like, subscribe, and share if this sparked a new insight. Think deeper, act brighter.